Well, how was ALEP founded? That's an interesting question. Well, about 15 years ago, as it happens, a group of us were sitting around looking at what was happening in the industry, and there were various people who professed to have expertise in leasehold enfranchisement with varying degrees of success. And there were lists of practitioners you could look at on the Leasehold Advisory Service website. And we thought, well, really, it's time to try and sort of bring a bit of rigor to this, because at the time, anybody could get themselves listed on the particular website, and they didn't necessarily have any particular expertise or any particular criteria for joining or listing themselves in that way. So Alex Greenslade, Alan Bailey, who were very much involved in leasehold solutions at the time, sat together with a number of people, myself included, and said it would be a good idea to put together a professional association that's got the consumer's interest at heart, that looks to protect everybody, that wants to enfranchise, to extend their lease or buy their freehold. And that's how ALEP was born. It was born out of a small group of niche practitioners meeting in an upstairs room somewhere and saying, let's get this snowball rolling. And here we are 15 years later. It's a great privilege to be a director of ALEP, actually. One of the greatest things, I think, of all the things I've done in my professional life, actually, is to be having the opportunity of taking ALEP through its various phases of evolution since its beginning. And I've become more deeply involved in it, of course, over the last sort of 10 to 12 years or so. So it's amazing, actually. It means a lot, because what we've managed to do is bring the profession together. Solicitors and surveyors who maybe didn't talk to each other have come together. Their adversaries, of course, that's the nature of their professional work, one's for one side, one's for the other. But if you know the person that you're dealing with on the other side, and you know what they look like, and you've talked to them, it does make for better human relations, and I think that's better for the clients overall. I think also we've sought to promote education and training, not in a selfish way, because of course each of our members is effectively giving their time up if they come and speak at one of our events. We've got some amazing expert practitioners who've been involved with us over the years, and of course one of the things we wanted to do right back at the beginning was start to set the direction of travel, if you like, with government. We had a shopping list, as we used to call it, of about 10 or 15 items that we wanted to see changed in the legislation. And of course, over time, we've had some amazing successes with those. John mentioned he lobbied with the Private Members Bill to get the rules on signing notices changed with the relevant amendment there. And we've been involved in recent consultations with the Law Commission, also more latterly now with DLUC. So, things go onwards and upwards. And I think that's the great challenge, actually, to be able to put on some good events that people want to come to, conferences and other social events as well, so people can network, but also that they can gain niche training in a way that you can't really gain anywhere else. So I'm very delighted to have been, at the helm of that through some of this time, and it's a great honour and a privilege to work with the amazing team from Team ALEP who've put all these events together. Success doesn't happen by accident; it happens by careful planning, by being strategic and thinking about what we've done. And I'd like to say that it's far from me to judge; it's for the members to judge ultimately. But I believe we have really achieved a lot of the things we set out to do. When we first started, we weren't sure how many people there would be in the potential universe of members. We said maybe we'd get to 200 member organisations, and we've got 256 members, I think, now. And pretty much anyone who does this kind of work is a member of the association, and that's for the good of us all. So, I could go on all day about this, but I won't. But it's a delight to be in control of something that's been so successful over the years, and will continue to do so for the benefit of all its members.
Well, I've been involved with ALEP for many years now, both as a member of a firm that was a member of ALEP, as well as being on the advisory committee. So I was delighted a few years ago when I was asked to become more involved with ALEP and become a director, in the hope that we can take this organisation forward for the benefit of our members.
I think the most important part of the ALEP directorship is making sure that we use our members' resources wisely, that we stay abreast of current developments, and that we have the right stewardship for the organisation. We've been very careful over the years in our strategic direction and how we've managed to remain neutral, politically neutral, I think, during what have been quite heated debates in the leasehold sector. And I think that's something which we can all be very proud of, actually, because we managed to keep everybody together through what are quite difficult and challenging times. And I think that's really important. So if there's a key thing about being a director, it's making sure that the organisation is run appropriately, smoothly, successfully, but also in a neutral way, so that it can continue to be the appropriate voice for all sectors involved in leasehold to talk to us about leasehold enfranchisement. So I think the thing that's made ALEP really successful in the sector has been the fact that we've had amazing support from a professional association backing us all the way through. So you may be aware of the work of Drive Marketing from Claire and the other members of the team there. We've had their support since the beginning, and that has made the real difference, because whilst we're an association run by our members for our members, it's with their help and support that we've managed to maintain a professional engagement in terms of the way we put on our conferences, the way we put on training and events, the way we've managed ourselves throughout all of our development. And I have to say that if we didn't have that support, we would not have progressed as quickly as we have in the last 15 years. So it's a great pleasure to work with all of the people in Team ALEP. I really do mean this when I say that it's one of the most enjoyable things that I do in professional life. And I would say a big thank you to them, because they are part of what made us what we are today. So thank you to them, and thank you to you, our members.
I think because ALEP has continued to do what it says on the tin, to be at the forefront of leasehold enfranchisement, and if we can continue doing that over the years ahead, in particular with regard to facing the challenges of law commission and government reforms to the sector, then I think we'll be doing very well indeed.
So if you ask me to talk about three things I think we've achieved over the years in ALEP, I'd pick one of each of the three sort of 5-year milestones, if you like, from the lifetime of ALEP. And the first one I think I'd say would be bringing industry closer together, because we started out with a disparate bunch of people who didn't know each other, who were potentially in conflict with each other because of the work they do, and we brought them together and educated and trained them. The second thing I would suggest that we've done is we've advanced professional knowledge through professional conferences and training, which has really brought people together. And our conferences really are run by professionals for professionals. So they always deliver enfranchisement training that's bang on point, it's up to date, it's niche by its very nature. And that really does deliver really good value. And because we're not for profit as well, the pricing is always reasonable. And thirdly and finally, I've just picked the other thing, which of course is beginning to help shape the legislative future. So obviously we've been involved since the beginning with our shopping list of things we wanted to see changed in the legislation itself. Things would make it easier to deal with on a day-to-day basis as a practitioner, whichever side of the fence you work on. But actually now to be at the point where DLUHC are now engaging with us, where we've been involved with the Law Commission and become a representative voice in those discussions, has been an amazing achievement. So those just three things that I think we've really achieved as significant milestones in the last 15 years.
I think it's to continue to be relevant as an organisation, to provide the services that our members want, with particular regard to training, to be on the front foot when it comes to working with government and other organisations over reforms. Through listening to ALEP members, we were at the forefront of getting legislation changed with the Leasehold Reform Amendment Act 2014, and I think it's brought the experts in the industry together, not least with the excellent networking events that ALEP puts on.